Welcome. It's like video season now. Look at all the videos we get. We're back in the shop today talking about my M8's clutch. Do you guys remember this clutch? What about this clutch? And what about this clutch? Ooh, shiny new. Before we talk about this one, let's go back and let's remember fondly of all the clutches I've blown in the last 2 years. Yeah, it turns out that these Arctic Cat clutches, the stock clutches on 2015 and down M's, they suck. I could have went a couple of different ways here, but I decided to get something completely aftermarket. This is a power block clutch. You can get these for Dews and I think Polaris as well, but we are going to be installing this one on the white M8 behind me. Yes, believe it or not, I'm still putting work into that thing. Everyone's like, Matt, go and buy a new sled. Matt can't buy a new sled. Matt needed to buy a house last year, so there's no room in the budget for a new sled, but there is room in the budget still for clutches. This better be the last clutch that I ever have to put in this thing, I swear. I have been getting maybe an average of about 1,000 clicks to a clutch. Last year I blew 2 up. I'm sick of putting Arctic Cat's Arctic Drive clutch in. They suck. They absolutely suck. I worked with the mechanic and said, they're not that bad. I'm like, yes, they are. They're bad. I blew 3 in 2 years. They suck. Team Arctic, yeah, Team Arctic clutches. Me. There was other options. I could have went with a complete team clutching setup, but the reason I didn't do that was this. That would have been very expensive to do properly. I would have needed the primary, I would have needed the calibration, I would have needed the secondary, I would have needed a different belt setup, I would have needed a different jack shaft, I would have needed different gears, different chain. It's a big freaking job to do. This is a power block clutch made by CVTech. I have installed many CVTech clutches on turbocharged units, for example. CVTech is actually a reputable company, so we should have a good clutch here. I think I gotta look at this again. I hope I'm right in saying this. I think the first inspection said 1,500 kilometers or something like that. Oh my God, it says 5,000 kilometers. I don't usually get 1,500 kilometers to a clutch if I service it or not. Not on this M8 behind me. I know a lot of people have been saying that the secondary is what falls apart on them. I've been through 3 primaries on this white M8 and I have never even had anything go wrong with the secondary. The bolt backed out one time if you count, but that's not really the secondary's problem. But for the price, I could get one of these clutches from CVTech and it came completely calibrated. It comes with the spring, the weights. Actually, you know what? They give you extra weights, but everything in here is already installed. I'm not gonna open it up and show you what's going on inside because I don't have the right compressor here. So we will just be throwing it on and we'll be going kind of over the instructions and what they give you in the kit. And this should be the last clutch that this white M8 ever needs. I haven't seen a lot of people running this clutch. I saw a couple guys on Dews running them. It's supposed to free up some power. It's supposed to be a smoother takeoff. And for a fully calibrated clutch for the price, I think it better be worth it. It can't be any worse than these pieces of junk over here. I just want to freaking throw these out. So let's go ahead and we will install this clutch. We will check out its alignment and all of that nonsense. And obviously there's no snow on the ground yet, but we are going to need to do a little bit of testing before we bring this white M8 to the mountains, because I know I said I was doing a bunch of work on it last year. Well, now it's getting all that work done over the next few weeks here. So you will see this white sled behind me change quite a bit in the next week or 2 here. So let's get started on this. On the left here, we have our classic Arctic Drive clutch, the one that I have been through multiple times before. They are actually built quite a bit differently. What tends to fail on these, actually I shouldn't even say what tends to fail, because I've had spiders crack, I've seen sheaves break. That's not a very common one, but I have seen it. I've seen the spiders crack right here. This is the spider, this 3-pronged unit here. I've seen them crack here. Actually, that's how my first clutch went, is actually a spider broke. But on this one of these dogs actually wore into the roller. And again, this was actually the spider's fault, because these rollers on these clutches specifically, you can't actually rebuild them. They're not from Arctic anyway. There are kits that you can get aftermarket. It's kind of a pain to do, and it's a little bit of a questionable repair, but you can see that this weight, or this dog, depending on what you want to call it, gets worn down, and it seizes up and it locks in there, and that's how these clutches go out. So they actually give you a couple things here. This is going to be our new clutch bolt. This is just a lock washer. And these are actually weights. So if I wanted to recalibrate the clutch, these are the shim weights that I would use to recalibrate it. There's no dogs in it, fly weights, dogs, whatever you want to call them. There's lots of different names for them. The parts that can often lead to failure in that other clutch over there. But this clutch works actually very differently, even though it's a centrifugal clutch. I'm not going to take it apart, but I will go through the diagram. This clutch actually came pre-calibrated from CV Tech for my unit in particular. And let's go over the diagram here. So you can see that though it's a similar clutch build, similar shape and everything, it's still a centrifugal clutch, but it doesn't use fly weights. These here are actually the weights, number 13. You can also see that there's no spider in the clutch. There is a spring cover, a spring guide, a spring, and various other parts, sheave, movable sheave, fixed sheave, cover. I can go through every little part, but it doesn't really matter. There's no spider in it, so that is actually knocking out the failure part entirely. And I did check, and it's 5,000 kilometers, but for the first service on this clutch, before the first inspection. I'm not going to go that long, but we will be taking this clutch apart fully, probably about halfway through the season. We're going to inspect it and we'll compare it. Before we go ahead and we decide to put our new CV Tech clutch on, we have our old clutch off already. We're going to take that ring weight off. A lot of people are going to disagree. They say, you don't need it. I'm going to use it. And I've already hit all those bolts with a bunch of heat, and that will make them come out because they got a ton of Loctite on them. Here's our clutch. Here's our machine. There isn't really a whole lot to do here. We will be checking alignment, but this clutch comes completely calibrated. So really all we need to do is just pop it on. And it's actually good to note that this is the stock clutch puller, the one that we use on all the other Arctic Cat clutches, and it is fully compatible with this clutch. New bolt that comes with the kit. We're also going to make sure that the lock washer is going on the proper way, and we're just going to tighten it up to factory specifications. Just using this little impact to save me a little time. I was also going to show the alignment process, but it kind of occurred to me that you're not gonna see what I'm doing. So here's a nice diagram here. Pretty easy to do. Just take a straight edge between the clutches, and then you're gonna wanna measure the distance between the straight edge and the inside of the fixed sheave. Almost 5,200 kilometers on the old girl, and what? She's still running so good. We should do a compression test on that thing just for fun. Stay tuned because there's some stuff for this coming up. The stuff that I promised I would do last year, I'm gonna be doing this year. It involves a tunnel and I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do it yet. All right, we're installed. We're gonna have to go and test it out before we can really take it to the mountains. I wanna make sure that everything that I'm gonna be doing to this sled over the next few weeks is going to be solid. You guys remember that 2017 M8000 that I built, that Mountain Cat? Well, we're gonna have a similar thing happen to this. Thanks everybody for watching this video. If you like this video, check out all the other videos on the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye everybody.